Welcome back, everybody, to the Miami Marlins franchise here on MLB The Show 23. We are here in the month of May in season number 4, and so far the team has gotten off to quite a good start this year as we're 28-16. We just swept the Phillies, and we are currently the number 1 wild card in the National League, being a few games behind the Braves currently. We've had a really good month of May. We're playing some awesome baseball, and despite that, we have gotten hit hard by the injury bug. Luis Robert got injured during the first week of April, and then in the last episode, Nick Fortes broke his foot, while Jordan Hicks and Gavin Lux both went on the 60-day IL, with Hicks suffering a season-ending labrum tear. Despite the fact that we've lost one of our best relievers and 3 regular starters, the team is still producing at a high level. We will talk about the Major League team later today, but we're going to go down on the farm, take a look at our minor league affiliates, the AA Pensacola Blue Wahoos, and the AAA Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. We've got a really strong farm system at the moment with 9 top 100 prospects, 3 of whom are currently in the top 50, and I'm excited to look at some of these players for the first time and others to check in on their development. We're going to start in AA with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, and then we will get to AAA shortly thereafter. The Blue Wahoos are 19-17. We've played solid baseball this season. Some notable prospects here include shortstop Ariel Amador, who we acquired from the Rockies last year. He's had a pretty solid season. Our first-round pick from last year's draft, Isaac Stu, has been really good. Up to this point, he's hitting .316 with 7 homers. That's tied for a team lead. He's been one of the best hitters in all of AA this year, which has been great to see. And through the first month of his pro career, he looks really, really good. I think he's not much more than a year or 2 away from being a big leaguer if he continues to produce offensively. Some of the other notable guys here include Oswaldo Matias, Joel Beltran, and one of the more pleasant surprises is shortstop Ronald Andino. He was our first-round pick 2 drafts ago, and last year was certainly a mixed bag for him. He led the Southern League in home runs, but he also only hit around .220. This year, it's been the total opposite. He's hitting for good average, but he only has 3 extra base hits and around 102 at-bats. I would still definitely call it progress, though, because he's clearly trying to experiment and change his approach, and it is resulting in much better contact, and I think the power will come along. So it is a good sign to see the average significantly higher than it was last year, even if the power isn't there yet. Speaking of power, though, Dominique Sierra already has 7 home runs. He's been a very pleasant surprise this year. And then another name to watch is Johnny Henderson. We drafted him last year late. He has 8 potential. He's one of our 3 top 50 prospects. The rotation is headlined by Tyrell Berry and Hitoki Nomo. Berry we drafted last year in competitive balance round A, and through his first 7 starts, he has been phenomenal with an ERA barely above 1. And then we've got Hitoki Nomo, who has quickly risen up the prospect ranks. He is now the 17th ranked prospect in baseball, recently passing up Robbie Jones as the number 1 prospect in the farm system. We're going to pitch with him today. I'm really excited to see how he will be able to do. And then the bullpen's got some good players. Adolfo Jimenez, we drafted highly last year. He's been a little bit disappointing, but for the most part, the pen's been pretty solid. We don't have a lot of relievers currently on the roster, though, because other pitchers have had to move around with the injuries we've had. So we're going to sign No Toribio, and he will join the AA bullpen going forward. So let's hop into this game here against the Montgomery Biscuits, the AA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm excited to get a look at Hitoki Nomo on the mound, the young lefty hailing from Japan, and we're going to get a look at some of these other intriguing prospects within the lineup as well. Should be a fun one here at home at Bayfront Park. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos are currently 19-17, second place in the division, only trailing the Montgomery Biscuits. So we'll see if we can make up some traction within the division. Pretty much all of the relevant prospects here, including Johnny Henderson, are getting the start today for Pensacola. Here's a look at Hitoki Nomo, who finished as the winner of the Minor League Stud of the Year a season ago. And this year, he's been even better. 2.36 ERA, .83 whip. That's really good. After allowing an early hit, he would strike out the next 3 batters, finished off by Roberto Nunez, the top pick of the Tampa Bay Rays last season. Roger McKinnon will be starting for the Biscuits, 2.83 ERA. He does have a rather high whip, though, at 1.48. Ronald Andino will be leading off. I think he kind of belongs here at the top of the order because he hasn't hit for extra base power, but he's hitting for good contact. He's getting on base, and here you go. Single into center. Good swing there by Ronald Andino as he continues to really try to fix his approach offensively. Andino would advance to third now, 2 away for Oswaldo Matias. He'll draw a walk, and so there's runners on the corners here for the catcher, Joel Beltran, who at 24 years old is really looking to prove something. And Beltran hits it up the middle. That'll go for a base hit. Andino will score, and the Blue Wahoos are on the board as they lead at 1-0. Dominic Sierra is up now. He will take a walk, and the bases are loaded for Luca De La Cruz. De La Cruz has had a good season, but the one problem is with him. In over 110 at-bats, he has drawn 1 walk. He swings at everything, as shown by this at-bat. Pensacola leaves the bases loaded. I guess they're trying to do their best Marlins impression with runners loaded. Into the second inning, Ruben Cardenas strikes out on the sweeping curve. Other than the leadoff hit, none of the Montgomery batters have even put the bat to the ball. Here's Ryan Cermak, strikes out on the circle change. We'll see if Nomo can strike out the side against former Marlins prospect Yiddy Cape, who was used in the Yandy Diaz trade a season ago. And Cape takes a big swing and a miss on the sweeping curve. Cape's had a fine season so far with the Biscuits, but his lack of development within our system is why he was ultimately traded around this time last year. Let's move into the bottom of the second inning. 2 away here for Ronald Andino, who crushes this one into the gap. This one will drop as it one hops off the wall. Andino safe at second. Just his 4th extra base hit of the year, and that ball was hit super solid. Good to see him making good contact while hitting the ball hard and far. We'll see if Ariel Amador can drive him in. Short answer, no. He strikes out on the sinker, and the Biscuits make it through 2. Top 3. Here is Hayden Cantrell. Flies this one into right field. Matias will not make the play, and so Montgomery starts Feeney with a base runner. The Biscuits have only put the ball in play twice today, but both of those times have resulted in base hits. Gustavo Morales rips it down the line. Here's another hit. That ball will go all the way to the left field corner. It'll be a double for Morales, and there's runners in scoring position with nobody out. Perfect opportunity for Montgomery to get some runs against one of the best pitchers in the AA Southern League. The top of the order is up. It's Vladimir Rodriguez who singles into center field. Both runs will score, and it's 2-1. Nomo has 6 strikeouts, but the other 4 at-bats today have all been hits. They have hit the ball well when they've been able to make contact. Now make it 5 for 5. Jose Salgado singles into left field. Got to feel a little concerned about Nomo. He doesn't look like himself right now. However, the Blue Wahoos will turn 2 off the bat of Murray. Great defense by Isaac Stu to catch the liner and tag the runner. Stu's not even that great of a defender. Here is Isaac Stu leading off the bottom of the 3rd inning. 1-2 count from McKinnon. He strikes out on the fastball for the first out of the inning. Joel Beltran is now up. Runner on first. That's Oswaldo Matias. He reached via a walk. And Beltran gets his 2nd hit of the game, singling into center field. Matias is going to dig in for 3rd, and he is safe. Good to see Beltran hit the ball well so far. Obviously, contact has been really the big issue with his minor league career so far. Runners on the corners here for the second baseman, Dominique Sierra. He hits this one well into right field. Back at the track, at the wall, it's gone! A 3-run shot for Dominique Sierra, his 8th of the year. Dominique Sierra has never been known as a power hitter. I don't think he hit 8 homers through his first 2 seasons in the system. And he's got 8 homers here not even through 2 months of the season. Let's move into the 4th inning. 4-2 now. Hayden Cantrell is up here for Montgomery with a runner on second and 2 away. He'll ground this one to third. Johnny Henderson, very good defensive player, as he will make the throw over to first. Much better inning for Hitoki Nomo. And we will move into the bottom of the 4th. A surprise pitching change for the Biscuits. They'll go to the bullpen with Michael Yazenka. 4.15 ERA on the season as he faces off against Ronald Andino, who's already reached base twice today with a pair of hits, potentially looking for a 3rd. And he won't get it because he takes the walk. So Andino is on board for a 3rd time today. And so that'll bring up the young infielder, Ariel Amador. He hits this one into the opposite field. That one is going to drop. Andino is really fast. He's got a real shot to score as he rounds third, and he is safe at the plate. Ronald Andino scores from first. It's an RBI double for Adael Amador, and it's 5-2 as we move into the fifth. Hitoki Nomo still in the game, really starting to find a groove finally as he strikes out Vladimir Rodriguez. Runner on here for Tanner Murray. It's a grounder over to second base. Adael Amador will make the play. That'll wrap up the fifth. That'll wrap up Hitoki Nomo's night. Pretty up and down game for Nomo. He had some good moments, but that third inning was rough. He'll be replaced by Ian Rigdon, who was drafted in the 6th round last year out of the University of Miami, hailing from Cuba, and he would quickly retire the side as Ryan Cermak would fly out to right. It is caught by Matias. Let's go bottom 6. Johnny Henderson up at the plate. He hits this one into center field, and this one is going to drop for a hit. Johnny Henderson is super raw. Considering most of his hitting stats are in the 30s, he hasn't had that bad of a season at the plate. That'll bring up Ronald Andino. He's reached base in every plate appearance he's had, so why not keep it going? Ronald Andino rips this one into the gap. Henderson will score with no problem. It's an RBI double for Andino, and it's 6-2. Ronald Andino had 3 extra base hits through his first 100 at-bats of the year coming into today's game, and today he has a pair of doubles. That's 2. It looks like he should be able to score easily as Adael Amador will drive him in. Amador with a double in the left field, and it's 7-2. Adael Amador now with multiple extra base hits and multiple runs driven in as well. He'll knock the current pitcher out of the game as Ty Adcock will come out of the Montgomery bullpen to look to get out of the jam here. He'll face off against Isaac Stu, the one guy who's been quiet on offense, oddly enough. Stu will single this one into right field, though. Amador thinks about heading home. He's going to wisely retreat over to third. And so now there's runners in the corners. Another opportunity to really extend the lead as it's Oswaldo Matias, who has already drawn 2 walks today. Let's get the hat trick. 3rd time's the charm, and the bases are now loaded. All the Blue Wahoos cannot do is put the ball on the ground, and Joel Beltran puts it on the ground. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. The bases are loaded again with no runs to show for it, but Pensacola did get 2 other runs earlier in the inning. Let's move to the top of the 8th now. Not a whole lot of action in the 7th. Ian Rigdon still in the game. He'll retire the side with 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen, and we'll move into the bottom of the 8th. Ronald Andino's been great today. He has 3 hits, potentially looking for a 4th as he rips it up the middle for a single. What a day for Ronald Andino. 2 singles, 2 doubles, an RBI, a walk, and he scored 3 runs as well. Adael Amador now rips this one into right field. That'll be his 3rd double of the game. Andino holds up at 3rd. Obviously, a lot of the attention has gone on Ronald Andino today, and deservedly so, but Adael Amador has been really good as well. Runners in scoring position, huge at bat for Isaac Stu. He's got a really high clutch rating, but he strikes out on the changeup. Great pitch. And so we'll go to the following batter, Oswaldo Matias. He's already drawn 3 walks today. Won't get the 4th as he jams the inside pitch, flies it to 3rd, and it is caught. 2 runners left in scoring position for the Blue Wahoos as it is 7-2 going into the 9th. I want to see what Adolfo Jimenez is made of. He was the Blue Wahoos' 2nd-round pick a year ago. Hasn't pitched all that well so far, but it looks like he'll make it through this inning pretty easily. Grounder to Stu. He tags the base, and this game is over. The Pensacola Blue Wahoos win it 7-2. I really liked what I saw, especially from the offense. The pitching was a little up and down. Hitoki Nomo wasn't great, but he wasn't necessarily bad either. The bullpen was really good, though. Ian Rigdon and Adolfo Jimenez shut the door. But it was the offense I was really impressed by. Ronald Andino in specific at the top of the order. 4 for 4, 2 singles, 2 doubles, an RBI, a walk, and 3 runs. Adael Amador with 3 doubles and 2 RBIs. Dominic Sierra with a 3-run blast. Joel Beltran had 2 hits as well. Overall, a really good showing from a lot of the better prospects on the roster, and hopefully those guys are going to continue to play well. Let's move over to the AAA team, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, who are the 29th ranked team in AAA on paper, yet we had the best record in the International East and the 4th best record in all of AAA overall. We're 27-15. So why exactly is this team doing well, despite the fact that on paper, apparently we're not really good? The best player, in my opinion, on the roster, Khalil Watson, hasn't even played well. Had Watson been performing, he would have been brought up to the big leagues by now, but he is struggling. I still hope he'll be a big leaguer some point this year. Ryan Poles is having a great season. He's a guy who I think could be called up really soon with his performance. He's been one of the best hitters through AAA. He's going to get an opportunity in the majors sooner rather than later. Aaron Sabato's having a good year. Jeremias Moyano, our international free agent signings, playing well, as is Jose Gerardo, who has really rebuilt his stock in our farm system after a couple of poor seasons. Some of the veterans in the rotation are struggling, like Braxton Garrett and Yusei Kikuchi, but Robbie Jones has been really good per usual. He has just dominated at whatever level he's been at in our farm system, despite the fact that he only has 15 strikeouts in over 48 innings. That's a strikeout rate of less than 3 per 9 innings, which is really low, yet he's really good. Joe Shearer, the closer, is the other guy I want to look out for. We accidentally had him start a game early in the year. He threw 6 innings, allowing 1 run, and he has not allowed a run since. He's a guy who I think could be called up to the big league sooner rather than later to potentially bolster the bullpen. Today we'll be facing off against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. They are the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees, and headlining this roster is shortstop prospect Anthony Volpe, who has developed quite well in the Yankees farm system. He's an 80 overall, and the Yankees have literally held him hostage in the minors. He should have been called up about 3 years ago. We've got this lady on for the first pitch, and wow, right down the middle. I think the Yankees really could use her for their bullpen. Let's take a look at both lineups again. Pretty much all of the relevant prospects for Jacksonville will be playing today. Tanner Tully is on the mound for the Rail Riders. The lefty has a 5.44 ERA, 1.48 whip. We are slightly familiar with him on this channel, being that he was a Guardians prospect last year. Ryan Poles flies this one into right center field. Caught pretty easily. 1-2-3 inning as Scranton Wilkes-Barre retires the side. Here's a look at Robbie Jones, who's been really good this year. 2.61 ERA, 0.97 whip. Does he strike out anybody? No, but he doesn't need to. Anthony Volpe flies it into foul territory to start things off, and it is caught. What a play in right field by Jose Gerardo for the first out of the inning. Let's look at this one again. Did he really need to dive? Probably not. Did it make the catch look cooler? Hell yeah, it did. Tyler Hardman is up here in the bottom of the second inning. He'll get the first base runner of the game. It's a single into center field, and so the Rail Riders have a runner aboard here. That'll bring up Nick Quintana. He lines this one into right field. This one is going to drop fair. Will bounce over the wall. Probably a good thing because the runner could have scored otherwise. That'll bring up big league veteran Mike Brousseau, who lines it to short. And it is caught by Jeremias Moyano, the international free agent signing, hailing from Puerto Rico as we move into the third. Ishmael Alcantara is up for Jacksonville. He hits this one into the gap, and the perfect game is over as the Jumbo Shrimp finally get a base runner. It looks like it'll be a double. Alcantara is thinking 3. He knows he's going to be out, so he goes back to second, and he is out of there right when Jacksonville finally gets a base runner. The unfortunate thing is, had he stayed at second, he would have scored because Michael Koo is going to get this one to drop into the left center gap as well for extra bases. With the center fielder missing the dive, he thinks about 3, then heads back to second, and he's out as well. Lesson learned. Don't go to the next base if you're not 100% sure about it. Not ideal. Let's move bottom 3. Anthony Volpe into right field, and it's going to be caught off the bounce. That's one way to catch it if you're Jose Gerardo, but I guess it'll do the job. Here is Rosario. He hits this one for a single. Volpe advances to third. So off of the Jason Rosario single, there are now runners on the corners here for Jesse Winker, another former big league veteran, and he ropes this one into left field. That'll score Volpe. The second runner will look to score as well. Throw from Moyano to the plate is not in time. 2-run double for Jesse Winker, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders lead it 2-0. That'll bring up Travis Blankenhorn. Hits it up the middle. Robbie Jones makes a nice play, but not before the Rail Riders score 2. They'll take a 2-0 lead off of the double by Jesse Winker. And we move into the fourth. Khalil Watson draws a walk, and finally Jacksonville has a guy who's actually on base. That'll bring up Rob Refsnyder. He was with the big league team earlier in the season. He grounds it right to second for a 4-6-3 double play. That is exactly what you want to do when you finally get a base runner. Get him out immediately. Bottom 4, Mike Brousseau strikes out on the cutter. Robbie Jones trying to find a groove again after a rough previous inning as we move to the 5th. Heriberto Hernandez is up for the Jumbo Shrimp. Hits it up the middle. What a play at second, and the throw is in time. Nothing is going well for the Jumbo Shrimp offense today. Tanner Tully pitching a gem. Here's Derek Hill, former first-round pick of the Tigers organization quite a while ago. He'll hit this one for a double. So with nobody out, the Rail Riders get a runner in scoring position. And it looks like Anthony Volpe is going to try to drive in the run and extend the lead. Derek Hill is really fast, so he should be able to make it home safely, and he does. It's an RBI single for Anthony Volpe, and it's a 3-0 lead for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. That'll bring up Jason Rosario. He grounds this one to second. Watson to Mayano. Over to Poles. It's a 4-6-3 double play. Robbie Jones and the Jumbo Shrimp needed that one quite badly. Tyler Hardman is up. He strikes out. That'll end Robbie Jones' afternoon. 5 innings, 3 earned runs. Not his best start, but it could have been worse. Patrick Montverde will come out of the bullpen to replace him. The lefty is a 3.18 ERA on the season as he faces off against Nick Quintana. He'll single this one into right field. That's another base runner for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, looking to potentially extend their lead as Mike Brousseau crushes it into straightaway center field, and that one is gone. The former Tampa Bay Ray and Milwaukee Brewer will make it 5-0, his 4th homer of the AAA season. And this game continues to get worse for Jacksonville as we move into the 7th. Tanner Tully's still in. He's still dominating as he strikes out Ryan Poles and makes it through the top of the 7th with 7 scoreless innings. Let's move to the bottom half of the frame now. Adrian Leone will come into the game for the Jumbo Shrimp. 2.97 ERA for the former first-rounder of the Toronto Blue Jays. He'll face off against Jason Rosario, who hits it into center, and Hernandez will not make the play. Rosario's going to head over for second, and he is safe. So with nobody out, Scranton Wilkes-Barre already has a runner in scoring position. Now, luckily, Leone will get out of the jam, so it'll remain 5-0 as we move into the 8th. Tully's still in. His pitch count isn't all that high, as Heriberto Hernandez singles into center field. Finally, another base hit. That's the first hit for Jacksonville since the 3rd inning. And with that, Tanner Tully will be taken out of the game. He'll be replaced by Trey Cobb, who is an ERA just above 5. He'll face off against Jose Gerardo, who's ahead in the count early as it is 3-1. He'll take the walk. So there's 2 runners on base. This is the opportunity to come back in the game. Ishmael Alcantara is up for the Jumbo Shrimp. 2 on, 2 away. Alcantara lines it into right, and Jacksonville should finally get some runs as it's an RBI single for Alcantara, and it's a 5-1 ball game. Good swing to finally put the Jumbo Shrimp on the board. That'll bring up the catcher, Michael Koo. He is behind 1-2. This pitch goes back behind the catcher. Runner's going to look to head for home, and he is out of there. The base running continues to be a disaster today for the Jumbo Shrimp, with Gerardo being tagged out at the plate as it's 5-1. Cobb being tested for the sticky stuff. And we'll move into the bottom of the 8th, where Leone would make it through the inning pretty easily. And now into the top of the 9th, with Mike Myers looking to finish things off. He'll face off against Rob Refsnyder with 2 away. And Refsnyder lines it well into left center field. 106 exit velo off the bat as that one is gone. And it's now 5-2. Refsnyder with his 2nd home run of the season. So Jacksonville's going to look to make the game a little bit closer, as Scott Effross, the regular closer, will now come in for the save. He's 12 of 12 in save ops this season, and this should be a pretty easy one considering they're up by 3, and the Jumbo Shrimp are down to their final strike. It's Ryan Poles swinging to this on the slider, and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders win it 5-2. Rough one here for Jacksonville. The offense did not show up until the 8th inning, and even though we played well at the end, it was a matter of too little, too late at that point. Robbie Jones was okay. He'll take the loss. Not his best outing. A lot of other key players didn't really produce. Ryan Poles 0 for 4. Khalil Watson 0 for 3 with a walk. And then Robbie Jones was kind of disappointing. He allowed 8 hits, only striking out 2 within that 5-inning stretch. An unfortunate loss here for the Jumbo Shrimp as our minor league teams end up going 1-1 today. And our attention will now go back to the big league club. The Miami Marlins are 28-16, and despite the fact that we've had a lot of injuries so far, the team has really produced. Some notable storylines include the play of Woody Landry. He's been fantastic over the month of May. He's been the Marlins' best hitter as of recent. Jacob Berry's really turned a corner. He's finally playing well. Anthony Santander's playing a lot better after his slow start. Kevin Alcantara is adjusting to the big leagues well. As for the pitching, Edward Cabrera looks like a legit Cy Young candidate. The rest of the rotation, including Sandy Alcantara, has been inconsistent. Yuri Perez started the year on fire, and he has really cooled off here in the month of May. And then the bullpen has been really good for the most part. Nobody is really struggling at the moment. So we're going to simulate through these next two series, 3 games at home against a tough Minnesota team. That one should be interesting. We play against former Marlin Pablo Lopez in the first game. And then we play against the Diamondbacks in the second series at home. The Diamondbacks obviously beat us in a 3-game set at home last year in the playoffs as Max Meyer is no longer injured. Presumably, we would send down either Connor Prelip or Steven Alez here. Both of them have been pretty good, but we will option Alez down to AAA. We ended up losing both series, scoring no more than 2 runs in any of the games. In our 2 wins, though, we had some great pitching performances. 8 scoreless from Edward Cabrera, who's not a Cy Young candidate. Somehow, I don't get it. And then the next game, Jesus Luzardo, 8 2/3 scoreless. The problem is the offense was just really not good. I was hoping that we would face off against Trevor Rogers in this White Sox series. It doesn't look like we will. So the 2 big-time players in the trade last year, Luis Robert and Trevor Rogers, won't get to face off against their former teams, with Robert, of course, being hurt. Before we get started, though, I do want to call up Ryan Poles. He's been playing well in the minors, and I want to give him a shot in the big leagues, while Ivan Herrera will be sent down to AAA. We only have 1 catcher on the roster, but remember, Woody Landry can catch, and we're going to have him behind the plate here today against the Chicago White Sox, with Ryan Poles getting the start at first, making his big league debut. While we will not get to see the Luis Robert or Trevor Rogers revenge games today, it will still be fun to have Ryan Poles make his big league debut. He's a talented young first baseman who we drafted in the 3rd round of our 2nd draft of the series out of Hofstra. On the mound for the White Sox is 20-year-old Barton Williams. They drafted him in the 1st round of 2023. He was a prospect we really liked, and he has developed extremely well through their farm system. His numbers this year aren't great, but remember, he's 20 years old. He's still learning. He's still getting better. Luis Ariz will lead things off here for the Marlins to open up the game. He goes down looking on the fastball. That one possibly could have been ball 4, but Ariz does not get the call. Brian De La Cruz is up now for Miami. This one is going to be hit into right field, and that one will drop as it bounces over the wall for a ground rule double, his 8th of the year. So De La Cruz is in scoring position, and that'll bring up Bo Bichette. He lines this one into right field. This one at the track, at the wall, it is gone! Bo Bichette gets it to curve over the fence for a home run, and the Marlins take a 2-0 lead early in the first. Bichette with his team leading 13th of the year. Woody Landry is up now for the Marlins. He hits this one into the opposite field. Woody Landry's opposite field power continues to be really impressive, despite the fact that teams really rely on playing the shift with him. It's a double for Landry, and the Marlins have a runner in scoring position again. That'll bring up Jacob Berry, who's cooled off over the last week or so after playing really well over a short stretch. He lines it into left. It will be caught, but not before the Marlins score 2 off of an early home run by Bo Bichette. Sandy Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins. He's been up and down this year, 3.86 ERA, 1.3 whip. He started off poorly, then he was playing really well. Now he's starting to look shaky again, so we're certainly hoping he can get a really good start. He would make it through the first quite easily. As we move into the second inning, Gennaro Miller grounds it to short. Great play by Jordan Clove, an international free agent signing from a couple years ago, coming in to make the play. Ryan Poles with his first big league at bat. It's a grounder to second, pretty uneventful. Not like Kevin Alcantara's first big league at bat, which he obviously hammered over the fence for a homer. It'll remain 2-0 as we go into the bottom half of the second inning. Sandy's looked pretty good so far, although the pitch count is quite high. He's averaging 6 pitches per batter so far as Jordan Clove draws a walk. Runner aboard, 2 away here for the former high draft pick Colson Montgomery. He's going to line this one into right field. That'll go for a hit. Runner will hold up at second. So there's now 2 runners aboard here and 2 away. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, John Kenzie Noel, who strikes out on the fastball. Good pitch by Sandy Alcantara, and we are through 2. Let's move top 4 now. Miami ahead, 2-0 still. Jacob Berry draws a walk. The Marlins started the game off really well offensively, but it's gone downhill as Barton Williams starts to pitch better. Jesus Sanchez rips this one into the left center gap. That one should score a run. Barry, rounding third, heads home. It's an RBI double for Jesus Sanchez, and the Marlins lead it 3-0. Great swing for Sanchez to extend the Miami lead. Bottom four, Jordan Clove lines into the pitcher. Good play by Sandy Alcantara. You can call him the ice cream man, the way he's scooping that one up for the second out of the inning. So now we'll be facing off against the veteran and longtime Minnesota Twin, Jorge Polanco, the 1-2. Got him looking on the sinker. 4 scoreless for Sandy Alcantara as it remains 3-0. Here is at bat number 2 in the Major League career for Ryan Poles. Hits this one a little bit better into right field, but it will be caught. Again, pretty uneventful for Poles. That'll be out number 1. Let's go bottom 5. Oscar Colas up for the White Sox. He's had a phenomenal season. OPS above 1,000, but he strikes out. Sandy Alcantara is looking like himself again. He's having a dominant outing as he will strike out Colson Montgomery on the low fastball. Great pitch. Jhonkensy Noel is now up. The 2-2. Lines this one into right field. Sanchez will make the play. 5 scoreless for Sandy Alcantara as the Marlins lead it 3-0. Let's move into the 6th inning. One away here for Jazz Chisholm. He's been pretty quiet so far today, 0 for 2, as he will hit the inside slider. That'll go for a hit. Probably could have been a walk, but hey, that'll do the job as well. And so the Marlins have the runner aboard. That'll lead to a pitching change for the White Sox as the young Barton Williams day is done. And the Aussie will be replaced by Matthew Thompson, who's had a dreadful season, 6.19 ERA. His whip is in the 2s. If you watch the Orioles series in MLB The Show 21, you may recognize that name as he was on the team for quite a few years. Jacob Berry lines this one into center field. It will be caught. So despite the fact that Matthew Thompson has been utterly abysmal this year, he'll make it through the 6th as it remains 3-0. Eloy Jimenez rips this one into center. That'll go for a hit. With 2 away, the White Sox have another runner aboard. We'll see if they can potentially drive him in, as it's Danny Jansen, who's had a great year as well. Flies in into left. Brian De La Cruz will make the play as it remains 3-0. That's 6 scoreless for Sandy Alcantara. The pitch count is getting kind of high, though. I think maybe you're looking at one more inning out of him if all goes well. Into the 7th now, Sanchez gets fooled by the curveball. Of course, the Marlins are struggling against a pitcher who's been god-awful this year. Gennaro Miller now up, full count, and the 2-way star will draw a walk. There's another base runner here for the Marlins as they look to extend their lead. Luis Arraez is up. He's been quiet so far, 0 for 3, full count. Arraez grounds it to first. Good play. And it looks like they'll scoop that one up in time. It remains 3-0. Nice defense by Jhonkensy Noel. Sandy Alcantara remains in the game here in the bottom of the 7th. With 2 away, Oscar Colas flies out to center. It's caught by Chisholm. 7 scoreless for Sandy Alcantara. His day is over. A phenomenal outing on the mound for Sandy. As we move into the 8th, Matthew Thompson still in the game, still pitching surprisingly well, as he will strike out Jazz Chisholm to wrap up the inning. The Marlins offense has been really quiet since the 1st inning, where they really started well. So to replace Alcantara will be Camilo Doval. He's only pitched 5.1 innings. We're trying to get him in more because, well, he's pretty good, and we're paying him a lot of money for a reliever. Colson Montgomery gets things started as he hits it well to short, but Bo Bichette, what a play! Bo with the flow. Phenomenal defense. Montgomery's like, how did that happen? I had an easy base hit. Jake McCarthy now grounds it to short. Bichette makes a play. Through 8 innings, we only have 8 combined hits from the 2 teams as it remains 3-0, and we move into the 9th. Aaron Bummer, the lefty, is out of the bullpen here for the Chicago White Sox. 5.75 ERA on the season. He's been largely disappointing. Woody Landry crushes this one into center. That'll go for a hit. Early base runner here for the Marlins, who are looking to add some insurance. Not that the White Sox offense has shown any signs of life for a comeback. Kevin Alcantara off the bench looking for extra bases. That'll only be a single. Woody Landry is going to make it over to third. So there's now runners on the corners here, 1 away. Big at bat for Gennaro Miller. He's got a full count here, and Miller rips it into left. That'll score a run. RBI single for Gennaro Miller, and it's 4-0. Miller in his young big league career has hit righties really well, but he struggled against lefties. Good to see him hitting that ball really well. Runners in scoring position now for Luis Arraez. Lines it to second, and the play will be made. Not a bad inning, though. The Marlins add another run, courteous of a Gennaro Miller RBI single. Let's go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Devin Williams is in. I know it's a 4-run game, but he was already loose, so he's going to come in anyway, looking to close out the game. We'll see if he can get the job done. The White Sox are down to their final strike. It's the catcher, Danny Jansen, who hasn't really done anything here today, 0 for 3. Williams here off the 1-2, kicks and deals, and this one is going to be skied into center. Kevin Alcantara subs into center field. He'll make the play, and the Marlins win a pitcher's duel 4-0. Not a lot of offense in this game. We hit the ball really well in the first inning. We had the early home run by Bo Bichette, but after that, the offense really struggled, and it didn't matter because Sandy Alcantara had one of his best outings of the year. 7 innings, only 3 hits, 0 earned runs allowed. That's the Sandy we all know and love. I know he's been inconsistent this year, but it's really good to see having a great performance here, dropping the ERA to 3.47, and then the bullpen does a good job of shutting the door, not allowing any base runners. Rough day for the White Sox offense. They got nothing going. 3 hits, 1 walk. That's not a lot. So we're going to simulate the rest of the White Sox series. We end up splitting. The game we won was 7-2. We had another Edward Cabrera masterclass, 6 1/3 scoreless innings, dropping the ERA to 1.64. By far the qualified leader in all of baseball, and he is finally getting some Cy Young love, currently in second. So as it stands now, we're 32-21. We haven't really made up or lost any ground today. Overall, a pretty solid episode as we're going to get through the start of June in the next episode. We play against the Braves for the first time this season. We're certainly going to look at that series at home against them. They are 37-15. They've been the best team in baseball this year. So that should be a really interesting challenge for us. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.